All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about a very specific, and for a lot of people, a very private smoking ritual, the bathroom cigarette. You know, it's one of the toughest habits to shake, probably because it feels so necessary. Today, we're going to deconstruct it piece by piece and really see what's going on.
So, let's start with the big question right here. Is that morning cigarette really a helpful part of your routine? Or could it be a powerful illusion that your mind has spent years building? That's what we're here to figure out.
You know, if this whole idea sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. For so many, the bathroom becomes this little sanctuary, right? A private space where lighting up feels like it's actually doing something productive, like it helps things along. It feels like a genuine need. But what if it's not?
To really understand why this feels so vital, we have to look under the hood at the engine that's driving it all, something called the habit loop. Now, this isn't about willpower or being weak. It's just a simple but incredibly powerful psychological pattern that our brain learns to run on autopilot.
So let's break down how this whole thing gets built, step by step. It all starts with a cue. You sit down, you're idle for a moment, bam! That triggers the craving, that little voice that says, you know what? A smoke would really help me relax right now. The response is automatic. You don't even think about it. You light up. And then comes the reward, that wave of relief, which powerfully convinces your brain, see, it worked, we needed that. And every single day, that loop just gets stronger and stronger.
So we see how the habit gets wired in. But here's the wild part. That whole powerful loop is actually built on a complete and total deception. So let's pull back the curtain and compare what you've been led to believe with what's actually true.
And here it is. This is the core deception, right here, side by side. The belief, the one we've told ourselves for years, is that smoking helps with digestion, but the scientific reality, nicotine actually interrupts and disrupts your body's natural digestive process. It isn't a helper, it's a roadblock.
Okay, so what about that feeling of calm, that reward part of the loop? Well, it's a trick. That feeling isn't real calm being added to your day. No, it's just the temporary satisfaction of ending nicotine withdrawal. Think about it. The cigarette creates the agitation in the first place, and then it gets to take all the credit for briefly making it go away.
So, if the cigarette isn't the hero in this story, then who or what is? Well, the truth is, your body is perfectly capable of handling this moment all by itself. Let's take a look at what's really doing the work here.
So what's actually helping? Well, these are the real MVPs. Simple things like a glass of warm water, your body's own natural morning clock, and your parasympathetic nervous system, which literally has the nickname rest and digest. They're already on the job. Even just some deep breathing and relaxation do way more than smoke ever could.
And that's the crucial point. Your body is already in the perfect state to do what it needs to do. It is primed and ready to go. The cigarette doesn't help the team. It's more like a disruptive guest that just crashes the party and gets in the way of a perfectly natural process.
Okay, so we've kind of debunked the biological myth. But the feeling of relief is still real, right? So where does that come from? Well, this is where the psychology gets really interesting. It's all about how two totally separate things, a cigarette and a moment of peace, got all tangled up in our minds.
I mean, think about it for a second. Why the bathroom in the first place? It was a guaranteed private space, right? It was a little mini escape from the chaos of family or work. It was a place where you could have 5 minutes to yourself and nobody would bother you. The real value was in the place.
And because the cigarette was always there with you during those quiet moments of solitude and relief, it started to basically steal the credit. Your brain made this powerful but totally wrong connection. It linked the chemical from the cigarette with all these wonderful feelings that the quiet space was already giving you for free. And this, right here, this is the absolute heart of the matter. The deep sense of calm you felt had nothing to do with the tobacco. It came from the simple, beautiful act of being alone, being still, and being unbothered for 5 minutes. The cigarette, it was just a prop you were holding.
Now, hearing me say all this is one thing, but proving it to yourself, that's a whole other level. So let's talk about the real test. And listen, this isn't about quitting forever tomorrow. It's just a simple, one-time experiment to let you see the illusion with your own 2 eyes.
It's so simple. Tomorrow morning, just go about your routine, but just leave the cigarette out of it. Instead, just sit there and breathe slowly. If you miss having something in your hand, hey, hold a warm cup of coffee or tea. That's it. That's the whole experiment.
And here's what you're going to notice. First, and most importantly, your body will still do exactly what it needs to do all on its own.
Second, your mind will actually settle down without any help. Sure, a craving might pop up. You'll feel it, and then you'll feel it fade away. And you'll realize the moment is just as peaceful as it always was, maybe just a little bit cleaner. And when you do that simple test, that's when you arrive at the final, powerful revelation. This is the moment where you get to untangle that deep psychological knot and finally take back the credit that the cigarette has been stealing from you for years.
So, after all this, what is the great illusion of the bathroom cigarette? It's this simple. The cigarette never, ever helped you go. It never aided the process. It was never a necessary ingredient. All it ever did was give you something to do while you were waiting for your own amazing, brilliant, self-sufficient body to do what it was already planning to do anyway. It was just a distraction, a way to pass the time.
And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway, the thing to really let sink in. Your body has always known exactly what to do. The smoke was just a con artist that showed up after the work was done and took all the credit. You know, understanding this one really deep-seated habit opens up a fascinating question. If you could be mistaken about something so routine, so automatic, what other illusions in your life are you now ready to see through and break?